Everyone, welcome back to Spiced Up by Bilal. Today I'm going to cook my favourite Indian meal, dal pulao. Now that is a very Gujarati meal back from where my family come from, but I've obviously modified it. As you might already know from my previous blogs, I've replaced a few things that we traditionally eat with something healthier, and I've also tried to increase the amount of nutrients in the food and the curries that I make. So today, as I said, we're making dal pulao. What is that? Well, I'm going to show you. So this is what we have here. This is what I'm preparing. Normally we have dal pulao. Pulao is actually normally considered rice, but I'm using quinoa instead because it's healthier. And the pulao itself and we also put split chickpeas in there, which is this. So these two go together, and I've also got some spices to put in there. So I've got some cardamom, I've got some black pepper, I've got some cloves, I've got some cinnamon sticks, and I've got some cumin seeds. Everyone, welcome back to Spiced Up by Bilal. Today I'm going to cook my favourite Indian meal, that's dal pulao. That's something that's very popular in the state of Gujarat, back where my family come from in India. But as you might already know from my blogs, my whole aim is to take Indian food that I like, or any food generally speaking, right now I'm getting through the Indian stuff, and to increase the nutritional value by adding more vegetables, adding more greens, but also replacing some refined carbs with alternatives, healthier alternatives. So this is what I'm doing today. So dal pulao, what is it? Well, dal is tur dal or pigeon pea. It's oily here, and that's what we use to make the dal. And we're going to use some lamb chops in there. Now, traditionally, that's all we use with some onions and what have you. But I'm going to increase the nutritional value by adding all these beauties. So I'm going to add some lady's fingers, some okra, some chili, pepper, and I love my onions. If you've seen my blogs before, I love my onions. So I like the spring onions, normal onions, red onions. I like my garlic, I like my ginger, and I like my my haldi as well. Into the dal will also go a mix of black pepper, cloves, cardamom, cinnamon sticks, and cumin seeds, and some tomato. Half a tin of tomato will do. It's quicker to cook that way. And also some some dried coriander and some tamarind. Into the pulao. Now, pulao traditionally is something we normally use rice. So what I'm doing is replacing the rice with quinoa. So that's what I've done here. I've got 100 grams of quinoa here, into which I'll put the split chickpeas, as we call them, chana dal. Okay, so if you're wondering what the grams are, I'm going to put it in my blog, but I've got 100 grams of quinoa, 25 grams of split chickpeas, which I've actually had boiling away. Because these take a while to cook, so I've boiled them up in hot water so they go nice and soft. And then I've got 100 grams of tur dal, or the pigeon pea, which I'll boil up until they explode, but you'll see that as I cook. So yeah, if you're wondering what this long vegetable here is, it's actually something we call dudhi, or Lauki, or the Calabash. It's the Asian melon, and it's high in vitamin C. So this is how I'm trying to increase the nutritional value of dal, which traditionally doesn't have any vegetables in it, really, apart from onions. But I'm putting it in the dudhi and the okra, along with the rest of it. So I'm going to cut this up, and then I'm going to carry on. So as you can see, I've cut up all the vegetables, all the spices, everything's ready. The garlic's in the crusher, which I'll put straight into a pan. So how am I going to do this? So this is how it works. I've got the tur dal cooking away, and the whole point of this is to split it in the boiling water. I've added about 1 litre of water. I've just topped it up with another ½ litre of water. As you can see, it's coming along nicely, but the dal actually needs to split. In a separate saucepan, I have some heated oil here. I'll be adding the garlic, the ginger, the onions, and the haldi. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, it's a bit hard when you're just filming on your own, so you're going to kind of see everything done. Okay, once that's done, you see me cooking. You see me continue cooking. So I'll let the onions go kind of bronze, and then I'll add about half a tin of tomatoes in there. It's easier to use a tin of tomatoes, and then I will connect. I'll then once the tins of tomatoes all in, I'll add the rest of the ingredients into this. So I'll be mixing the contents of this, the onions and all the garlic, the ginger, the haldi, etc., into here. And then I'll be adding the okra, and I'll be adding the the dudhi. Okay, then it's done. And I'll also be putting in the spices for said kind of the dal. And in the meantime, I'll get going with the quinoa as well. So it's all on the go. I've got 3 saucepans that I'm having fun with, but I'm hoping you're going to keep up with this. Obviously, I'm going to write this up as well, so it shouldn't be that difficult to follow. So as you can see, I've added everything together and it's coming on nicely. It's a beautiful, beautiful colour. You've got a really rich, kind of, it's not even spicy, but it is a really, really tangy aroma here. I really love this. Of the garlic, the ginger. I love garlic in my food. I love onion in my food. I love haldi in my food. It's just, it smells awesome. You have to be here. When you cook this yourself, you'll be blown away by how nice this smells. Okay, so I've added all the ingredients to about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, which is heated. And I've got this on about 3/4 heat. And I'm just going to let everything kind of cook together and saute. Well, actually, the onions need to brown first for this particular dish. And then, as I said, once this is done, I'll be adding all the ingredients to the big pot here, which is boiling away. Just quickly show you that as well. There you go. Coming along very nicely. Almost ready to add the lamb chops. A quick look at the tur dal. The whole point of this is to explode it, and as you can see, it's exploded nicely. So it's now ready to have the lamb added to it, which I'll do right now. Got the lamb here, washed, cleaned. So this is lamb chops. There you go. I'll go right in. Stir it in a little bit and let that cook for around 15 minutes. And as you can see, the other part of the dal is getting along nicely. The quinoa will start soon because it takes, what, 10-15 minutes to cook? It's done very, very quickly. Right, excuse me. So, excuse me, as we call it, the vagara is coming on very, very well. I'm actually chewing on something. I just followed into the wrong hole. Excuse me. Anyway, so, as you can see, the mix is going on very, very well here. I'm now ready to do the quinoa. And I'm going to wash the quinoa. And I'm going to add some chana dal, split chickpeas to that as well. Now these split chickpeas, about 50 grams of them, 25 grams, sorry, into 100 grams of quinoa. We normally add to the rice. Now this is normally very dry. So what we've done is kind of pre-cooked it, put it in some hot boiling water, and just kind of left it to kind of just all covered. And it's meant that it's kind of nice and soft. So when it comes to actually putting it into the quinoa, it'll cook very quickly. Into the quinoa, we'll be adding the onion, cut onions. I've got another onion here, and I've got some spices here as well. As I said, the cardamom, the cinnamon, the cloves, the black pepper, and the cumin seeds. So the other part of the dal is shaping up really nice. I've just added half a tin of tomatoes, and I've added some dried coriander. I'm going to let that cook for a little bit, mix it up, obviously, keep mixing, keep stirring. With Indian food, you've got to keep stirring most of it. And I'm going to cook it until the water evaporates, and then I'll add this to that, and then I'll add the rest of it. And then it's essentially done. Very, very easy. Obviously, I'll be adding the spices as well. And then the quinoa will just happen itself because everything's ready. As you can see, the water's evaporated, so I'm now going to add this to that, to this, to that. As you can see, it's coming on very nicely. There you go, it's added. I'm also now going to add all the rest of these ingredients. The green leaves from the spring onions will get added later. I'm going to add all these ingredients now and the spices as well. So if you want to watch, you can do. It's pretty boring, but it's got to be done. Well, this is exciting, but actually it's not boring. For me, I love the cutting bit, but a lot of people don't want to see kind of that stuff going on. Anyway, this is what I'm doing now. I'm putting the okra in, and it's all dropping everywhere now, so I'm going to have to wash it again. So I'm adding all the dudhi as well, and the okra. Dropped one, which I shall wash. Put that in there. Also put some of these spices in there as well, I was talking about. And the one thing I've not added yet is salt, which I shall add once the mix is a bit more coagulated and I know how I want my food to taste. So let's show you what's going on. There you go. It's all in there. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit and then leave it to cook. Looks gorgeous. In the meantime, I can take over this stove here and start sorting out the quinoa. So I've started for the quinoa now. I'm going to saute these onions The spices are in there as well. This is in about a tablespoon and a bit of olive oil. And then I'm going to add the chana dal, so I'm going to add the quinoa very quickly, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, because I like my quinoa to be separated when they're cooked. And then just literally kind of put the quinoa in once the onions are sauteed and caramelized. And then I'll add boiling water, about half a litre, probably about half a litre. And then I'll add the split chickpeas as well. And then cover it, and just stir it a little bit, and then cover it, and then we'll have a meal, because everything's pretty much ready now. Just about maybe 10-15 minutes of cooking. The whole process takes about, if you include the preparation, probably if you do it quickly, no more than an hour. So I've just added the quinoa. I'm just going to stir it up into the oil and the onions, and now I'm going to add the chana dal very quickly. Just turn the heat down a little bit. Everything's in there. I've got a bit more there, but obviously I need to put this down to do it. And then I'm going to add the boiling hot water to speed everything up. There you go, the water's in. It's all mixed. Everything's pretty much almost ready. The dal's coming on very nicely. This should be done in the next 5-10 minutes. This should take about 15 minutes to do. Because of the whole filming lark, things are taking a bit long, obviously, because I'm cooking. But when I'm not filming, this takes me probably about an hour, as I said earlier. And this is close to being done now. Close, very close. I'll still let that cook a little bit, and I'm going to cover it up again. Oh, the smell, the aroma is beautiful from this. The aroma is absolutely gorgeous from both of them, from the Pillau quinoa and from the super dal. It's coming on nicely. The water's boiling, and all the mix is still separated. That's why I keep stirring. And this, I stirred for about 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. Now I'm going to cover it on what, 3/4 heat. I'll turn the heat down to about half, maybe quarter, and then towards the end turn it down to like around quarter or less, so the quinoa cooks up really well. It's basically exactly how we cook the rice, and it seems to work. So dinner is about to be served. Yum, look at this. Even the boss, i.e. my mother, came in, had a look, tasted it and said, yeah, she likes it. So that is a huge endorsement. So I've just added the green leaves from the spring onions, and this mix is ready to eat. The quinoa is ready as well. I had to add a little bit more water in, but you just kind of gauge it. Okay, this will all be on the blog written up. So I'm gonna sort out the plate for Mum and I now. So dinner is served. I hope you enjoyed that, and please do get back to me and let me know how you get on in the kitchen with what I cook up with, what I come up with. So thank you for tuning in to Spiced Up by Bilal. See you next time.